Welcome to the Prescription for Career Success podcast.
All right, we had a question submitted by Robert. He says that I am in my late 40s. I've been working in the same field for most of my career, but lately I've been thinking about making a change. Okay, Robert, now here's the problem. I worry that employers prefer younger candidates. I have had this question pop up so many times. Robert says, I'm afraid it might be too late for me to start over, and I still have many working years still ahead of me. But I don't want to make a move that could put my stability at risk. So this kind of reminds me of Michael's question, this great concern about stability. Okay. Robert says, is it too late for me to start something new? It's never too late, right? It's never too late for you to start something new, Robert. And in fact, we talk a lot about the behavior, mindset, outcomes triad. And this is a great example, right? I get so many questions about people. And it's a valid concern, being concerned about transitioning due to their age. But I want you to keep a positive mindset, right? Because that impacts in terms of your behaviors, and that equals outcomes. So mindset, behavior equals outcomes. Just keep that in mind, because this job market is already tough enough, Robert. And you putting extra pressure on yourself or added stress on yourself because you're worried about age, it is a factor that some, you can't, people are, sometimes they discriminate. And that's not a good thing. But we can manage our own stress by knowing, like, you have all of these years of experience that you bring to the table, and you are value added to any organization. Start with that, right? And keep the end goal in mind. So many professionals, they make some of their most meaningful career moves in their 40s and 50s, because by that time, Robert, they have something incredibly valued that other people don't. And that is experience, perspective, and resilience. You have probably experienced many things in your career that you can bring to the table that offers a more strategic versus tactical perspective. I'm using military terms there. All right, so now let's address this concern about employees preferring younger candidates. Again, the fear is understandable, it's valid, like I pointed out to you earlier, but what employers truly value is not age, it's capability, reliability, and the ability for you to be able to problem solve. And like I pointed out earlier, everything is always a risk. I wish I could tell you that the world is perfect, but I also don't want you to underestimate the value that you bring to the table. Here's what I want you to remember, that you're not starting from zero. You are starting from experience, and that's your greatest advantage. You have spent years building skills, relationships. You have the professional judgment, the acumen. These are assets that younger professionals are still developing. And so the key is learning how to position your experience in a way that really highlights your value and not your age. Okay, so again, manage the self-talk and really lean into, this is what I am bringing to the table. I made a career pivot in my 40s. So you can do it. Anybody can do it. It's all about mindset and you really exercising the expertise that you bring to the table. So let's talk about stability, because that's an important question. We just addressed that same question with Michael, right? A career change at this stage, it's not going to be impulsive, right? It should be strategic. So it's me giving that same advice that I'm always giving. So instead of asking, am I too old? I want you to ask, how can I leverage my experience to create new opportunities? Because just some practical things you can do. You have the experience in terms of leadership, communication, problem solving. So how can you take those transferable skills and leverage that to be highly marketable across multiple industries, especially if you're thinking about making a total career transition, right? The transferable skills are things that you can leverage across multiple industries. The second thing I want you to think about is you need to stay current and visible. Are you active on LinkedIn? How are you learning new skills? How are you showing up? Are you upskilling? What are you doing to make sure that you're staying current? And then I want to go back to mindset, right? As you don't undervalue the experience that you bring to the table, Robert. Your career is not defined by your age. It's defined by the fact that you are willing to grow, adapt, and that you're taking those intentional steps forward. And so just remember this, you still have time to build something meaningful, impactful. You probably already have built that, and you're just transitioning to the next level, higher pay, more responsibilities, because you bring so much to the table already. And so really focus on those transferable skills and build from there, and really be clear in terms of what you want to do and plan to do in this next phase of your career.